God Woken, you return. Put the amulet on and charge it up by consuming Source. Once it's got 5 charges in it, it'll be ready to go. Bring the amulet and the scroll to the Path of Blood. By the statue of Lucian, there is a hidden mechanism. Set the fully charged amulet in the hidden receptacle, then read from the scroll. Many obstacles lie between the Path of Blood and the resting place of the Divine. I can only help with one, the Death Room. It is a room of many levers. 5 will lead you closer to your goal. The rest will lead you to your death. Each lever is named for a virtue of the Divine. Find the levers whose initials spell the word power. Select these 5 and these alone. My dear, we all have questions. Sometimes we may even get answers. In my time, I've worn many hats. Many of them pointed. I've been a scholar, an engineer of sorts, a protector of towns and villages, a thief, a lover. For one particularly memorable period of time, I was a cat. Those were the days. But through it all, I've been what you might know as a wizard. All these long years I have worked to maintain balance in the world. Lately, that has seen me at the service of Lucian. But this is just one way to tell my tale. There are many versions of Ahu through the ages. My body, or bodies as it happens, age. But my spirit does not decay. Shall I go on? It may sound stupid, given the world in which we find ourselves, but I strive for balance, and a realm in which all creatures can feel safe and free of terror. Hence my alliance with Lucian. I have lowered my aspirations somewhat in recent centuries, I admit. Now I'd settle for the world staying out of the void. Amazing how your priorities change over time. I knew Lucian would defend Rivellon from oblivion. I thought he would be equal to the task and easily succeed. It seems I may have been wrong. Easy, girl. I'm happy to see you too.
Aye, the giant takes notice of its charges. Ask away, Shield. Indeed, Quercus.
Oh, Charlie. I hope you were good while I was away. Who knows how long it will take to fix this mess?
Hello? Hey, have you got my ball? Smelly person threw my ball away and I couldn't go fetch. Threw it off the balcony and I couldn't find it. But then Master Ahu came back. So that's nice. I love Master Ahu. Friend of Master's. Used to smell old. Now he smells rotten. And he's mean. Threw my ball away.
Generations of work just strewn across the floor.
Smelly man threw my ball away and now I'm sad. It's my ball, and I love my ball.
I found something.
A ball with teeth marks in it. Smells of dog.
Easy, girl.
Hello?
I'm happy to see you too.
Oh, fantastic!
I pledge my life, O Lucian. Please.
I pledge my heart, O Lucian. Please return.
I pledge my soul.
I pledge my life, O Lucian. Please return.
Something closed the door. Looking at this.
Pledge my soul, O Lucian. Please return.
I pledge my heart. I pledge my life. Please return.
Pledge my heart, O Lucian.
I pledge my life.
The bewildered ghost stares at her own dead corpse. A single thought emanates from her spirit, that I was pure. The warmth of your good wishes envelops her. She realizes the truth. All is well that can be well. Nothing else matters now. She may leave for the Hall of Echoes.
I don't understand. I was sure I'd make it. What did I do wrong? Did I commit some sin without knowing? Did I sin by thinking I was pure? Blessed Divine, enlighten me!
One little silver spoon, that's all I took from them. A family like that wouldn't even miss it. I didn't deserve to die because of it.
All those poor dead elves have haunted my dreams ever since the war. I thought I'd be forgiven. I thought I'd suffered enough. I was wrong.
How did this happen? I gave away a small fortune to the cathedral and the schools and the poor on the streets. I paid what was owed. I should be cleansed of my sins.
The whole affair with that girl happened decades ago. I've led a pious life ever since. Am I really to be judged for all time because of this one indiscretion?
There, switch.
There's a curious-looking panel discreetly nestled upon the wall. Upon it is a lone button. There's a slot in the center of the button. It looks like something should be placed in it. The amulet fits the slot perfectly. The mechanisms around it begin to glow with source. The button slowly sinks into the wall, as if pushed by an invisible hand. The source fades from the amulet, consumed by the inner mechanisms of the button. Gears turn behind the ancient walls, almost like they're acknowledging the words you spoke. A nearby hatch in the floor unseals itself. The statue reaches toward the sky, as though preparing to take flight.
No sign of Lucian's body. Has Dallas beaten us here?
The Blessed Altar seems to want to be touched. In the pit beyond, things move once more, as if returning to their original position. Then the mechanism rests. Behind you, the sound echoes away. Peering through the iron grating, you can see how it connects to the strange pipework beneath. A blessed stone altar. The cool stone seems to beg to be touched. The altar seems to respond. Beyond it, something creaks, as if the pipework was moving. The sound comes from beyond the altar, but also echoes and gurgles behind. A blessed stone altar. The cool stone seems to beg to be touched. In the space beyond the altar, the pipework shifts. In the pit beyond, things move once more, as if returning to their original position. A blessed stone altar. The cool in the space beyond the altar. The altar seems to respond. Beyond it, something creaks. A blessed stone altar. The cool stone seems to beg to be touched. In the pit beyond, things... A blessed stone altar. The cool stone... In the space beyond... The altar seems to respond. A blessed stone altar. The cool stone in the space beyond the... In the pit beyond, a blessed stone in the space beyond. The altar seems to respond. Beyond... The blessed altar seems to want to be touched. In the space beyond the altar... A blessed stone altar. The altar seems to respond.
Venture no farther. Only death lies beyond. Blood need not be spilled. Bones need not be broken. Preserve thyself and flee. To cross this threshold is to plunge into thy grave. Do not decide in haste. Very well. Embrace thy fate.
Look out, I see a trap sequence.
Moving to noxious atmosphere. Noxious atmosphere enabled.
Looks like that leader did something.
Moving to noxious atmosphere enabler. There's no end to them. Moving to noxious atmosphere enabler. Noxious atmosphere enabled.
generator. Hazardous concoction vessel generating to corporeal transmission.
What the hell's just happened? Pulling a lever invites pleasure.
Must have been the last lever. Closer to Lucian's crypt.
You reach for your weapon, but as the small Voidwoken skitters forward, you get the sense that it's not here to fight. It looks at Fane, clicking and chittering in excitement, and introduces itself. Fane starts in shock. He knows it. The Voidwoken was a colleague from Fane's days at the Academy, his assistant. It claims it knows how to save the Eternals. It promises Fane that if he can snatch the powers of the Seven, then he can restore his people. Not under the rule of the God King or the Void, they would finally be free. Fane turns away, pensive and quiet. Even as a skull, you can see the pain etched into his face.
Do you know, this Ark's place doesn't look half bad. Important does not do it justice. She tells me there is a way to save my people. The power of Divinity could bring them back. Not as monsters, but restored to their former glory. I could have my old life again. That issue is not as pressing as you might imagine. The Eternals cannot be eternal without the source your god stole from them. No, if they return, they will reclaim their source. The source that was used to create you. If the Eternals come home to this world, we will live in it as your masters. You will be our slaves at best, our food at worst. I'm not sure. I need to think about this. It's just... they're my people. Although... well, so are you. I'm sorry. I can't talk about this right now.
Hangs heavy upon the air itself, unspoken. This is the point of no return. Somewhere beyond this point, you shall be undone, or you shall ascend. There is no middle ground.
Goodness. Here we are, Quercus. This is it. What do you mean, Quercus? Of course I'm prepared. I have my noble steed below me, And my trusted shield beside me. What more could I need?
His whiskers crack into a mischievous smile.
And I may have cracked the spell that will stop the great acorn in its furious tracks, if that's what you mean. That's right, Quercus. We've done it!
Sir Lora turns to you, his beady eyes shining with pride.
I owe you an apology, Shield. At the start of our journey, I wouldn't have believed a human would lead me to the discovery that would save us all. But I see now that my prejudice was foolish. Without you, Quercus and I might still be stuck on that abominable prison island. Now here I am. Here we are, on the brink of saving the world. Indeed, Quercus and I will find an advantageous location and do just that. Meanwhile, you must prevent the servants of the Acorn from interrupting us.
Sir Lora takes a slow, deep breath and lets it out in a rush.
You feel it, don't you? It's so still, but there's something behind it too, like a thunderclap waiting to fall. The great Acorn is nearly here. Its servants are poised for impact. We've known this moment would come. Now it is time to put my research to the test. I am ready. Quercus is ready. And you, Shield?
Sir Lora nods in return and grabs your pinky with his tiny paw. He gives it a decisive shake, then salutes.
No matter what happens next, Shield, there's something Quercus and I want you to know. It has been an honor. Now, onward!
Come here often. I don't know what you did, but you just released a source flood. I thought I'd come and see what all the fuss was about. Should have known you were getting yourself into trouble. Looks like the big moment has finally arrived. I will do everything I can to support you, Godwoken. I will pray for you. I think you'll need it. Don't underestimate the power of true prayer. This is a place of incredible power where a single prayer holds the weight of thousands. Your heart and soul will fill as quickly as they're drained. Consider it a taste of your divine future. The people will pray for you. In turn, they'll trust you to do right by them, as I'm trusting you to do now. Of course, it's up to you whether or not to listen. I know how I'd respond, but you do you.
Malady wearily chuckles to herself, then bows her head in a show of unexpected but sincere reverence.
Looks like my investment's paid off after all.
I need worship only one divine, and I believe he stands before me now.
You've shown me kindness in the face of my sins. My worship is the least I can offer.
I've always preferred to be the one reaping the attention, but you've turned the tables. I suppose it's only right, seeing as how a new divinity may stand before me.
Now go. Rivellon needs a new divine.
God woken. Dallas told me about you. You must be as hard as diamonds, and twice as bright, to have come so far. Your divine welcomes you.
The divine you thought dead lords over the chamber from a granite throne. He moves to speak, but it's Wiedemann's voice that next pierces the air.
What a twist.
Lucian frowns at Wiedemann, then bestows a benevolent smile upon you. All that you know of him flashes across the panorama of your mind.
Lucian, you lying snake! You betrayed me! You used me to bring death to my own people! And for what? To make the world a better place? Look around!
Ifan, my friend. There were many sacrifices that had to be made. You were but one. Each of them pain me, but I would make them all again.
Lucian, we should tell him the truth.
Yes, I agree. It is time we dropped our masks.
Dallas nods, then reaches for the sides of her head. Where there was one face, suddenly there are four. She takes off the mask of the shapeshifter. A skull is revealed, bejeweled and ancient as the void.
I am eternal.
Aren't they just full of surprises?
Fear not, Godwoken. Dallas is on the side of all that is good. She is helping me rid Rivellon of the influence of the Source. Listen to her.
I shall tell you the tale as I told it to Lucian. Long ago, the scholar Fane discovered that the veil between the world and the void was made of Source. Our 7 lords desired this power.
Of course.
Silence, slave. Our king forbade the 7 to reach for this power, but they didn't listen. Instead, they rebelled and sent the king and his people into the void.
With the Source they stole from the Veil. The 7 created the races so they would have worshippers.
During their lives, worshippers collect Source. When they die, the gods feed from them. It's an ingenious system.
Our souls are nothing but vats for the Source-hungry gods.
The 7 made a mistake. By taking its source, they tore a hole in the veil, and it is through this hole that the void finds its way into our world.
The 7's lust for power let in the void. Our goal is to close the hole they created, to restore the Source to the veil. When we are done, there shall be no more source in the world. Rivellon will be finally free from the gods that enslaved them.
My people cannot be allowed to return from the void. They are tarnished. They are void-woken. They can only bring chaos and death and...
There is more, but she hesitates to share it. Then she decides that she must.
I was a child when the God King tore my family apart. I was purged of source and left to rot in a putrid tomb. A child. It was hell. A hell I suffered for the sins of my father. He was the one that betrayed the God King. He was the one that told the Seven the secrets of the Veil. The cruel joke of it all is that the same tomb that housed my tortured body is what sheltered me from the void. Few Eternals escaped that fate. Myself, my mother, and my father, the scholar Fane. But now I finally have revenge. Revenge on the Seven and the God King. Revenge for what they took from me. My life. My people. My mother.
The hammer's voice falters and her coolness vanishes. Every crack and rasp betrays her grief. But her next words burn not with sadness, but anger.
He never even looked for me. He never even looked for her!
Dallas, control yourself. Our purpose transcends your personal wounds.
Yes. You are right.
Dallas's reasons weren't mine to question. All that ever mattered to me was peace. Peace for Rivellon. Peace for me, whatever the means. And now, we are on the precipice.
She sacrificed herself for the betterment of Rivellon. She didn't do it willingly, mind you. Curiosity led her to the tomb. My hunger for source took care of the rest. I presume her bones remained there. And then I took her place. Face rippers are such marvels, aren't they? It didn't take long to realize that Lucian was the key to my vengeance, and I was the key to the salvation of Rivellon.
While Dallas sought the Aetheran, I started draining the gods of their source.
Slurp, slurp, slurp.
One more word from you, and I shall use the leash.
I had to hide from the gods. So I had the walls of this crypt equipped with tenebrium and protections put in place. It worked. Everyone, even the gods, thought me dead. As divine, I was created, empowered to stop the void. I was the avatar of the Seven, their strength and their weakness. My bond to them allowed me to drain them of their source.
Yes, in a sense. When the Death Fog was unleashed, many elves died. With fewer elves to worship him, Tias and Dilius weakened. This gave the God King his first real foothold back in the world. To strengthen himself, he sent his Voidwoken, the remnants of my people, to hunt down the sorcerers seeking to reclaim their source.
The Voidwoken. Disgusting things. They ravaged the land they touched and infected the air they breathed. They were also an incredible stroke of luck.